So in this video, I'm going to be talking about monk modes, my experience doing two of them, and essentially why I'm never going to do one again, and what I'm doing instead moving forward in my career. So if you're new to the channel, if you don't have any idea who I am, I've made a My Story video, so you can check that out if you're interested as well. But I essentially run a performance marketing agency, and this channel is just where I pretty much sit down every now and again and make some videos documenting my journey, continue to grow my agency and trying to get it to 7 figures, as well as living life, surfing, traveling, and doing what I love. So my goal in terms of surfing for the next 4.5 years now is to try to get barreled before I turn 30. So I'm now 25, turning 26 pretty soon. So still got some time, but yeah, that's outside of the business goals. So monk modes. I did my first monk mode in 2022. I had just had my first trip with my online business to Sri Lanka. And it was a cool trip initially, but almost halfway through the trip, I got hacked. So extremely unfortunate. Basically, the ad accounts I was managing, so the Facebook ad accounts for my clients, got hacked. And it turned into the fact that I lost most of my revenue, most of my clients. So when I got back home after that, I was devastated. But luckily, I'd made a YouTube video like a few months before that randomly went mini viral. It got like 4,000 views. And that YouTube video is not on this channel. It's on my Facebook ad strategy YouTube channel. And yeah, it turned into people booking in calls with me. And all of a sudden I got clients again. And with that momentum, I thought to myself that I need to take full advantage of it. So I've seen Iman Gadzhi talk about monk modes. And if you don't know who he is, he also used to run a performance marketing agency and documented his journey on YouTube. And a lot of the times he would talk about monk modes. So basically setting off a period of time where you're only focused on your goals in business, remove all distractions, all shitty food, partying, social life, all that stuff, just cut it out and optimize your health, your sleep, and work really long hours. And I thought to myself, well, now is the time for me to do that. I have some momentum. I need to build my business back up again. So let's lock in. So I used my family's cabin, set up a little workspace, which was really nice, by the way. I'll show you some pictures here. So I just had a monitor, my laptop, and I was living fully by myself. The nearest store was like 30 minutes away. So yeah, just totally locked in there and spent most of the day just at my desk, but every now and again I would go out for a run, go for a workout, and cook some food, read, and really just work. And it did give me a lot of progress. I did that for just 2 weeks initially, and I think 2 weeks was okay. The thing that I know now is that would never be sustainable for more than 2 weeks, but initially, just to get that momentum and have that dedicated focus was very beneficial, but again, not sustainable. And I'll get into why that is. The next time I did a monk mode, so I'd already reached 10K in profit, my first 10K month with my agency. And I decided I wanted to take it further. So I locked in, and this time I wanted to go a little bit extreme. So I put the goal of doing a 2-month monk mode, so a 60-day monk mode. And this is where it failed miserably. So initially, it was going okay. And I documented every day with a tiny little, no editing, simple vlog on this channel. So if you want to go check it out, it's super boring to look at. I literally only did it to stay accountable, and have a log to look through. But yeah, I tried for 60 days, but throughout it got, exhausting. It got really exhausting. And not just in like, the fact that I was tired or felt lazy. No, it was actually me losing the joy of life, losing the creativity. I wasn't creative anymore. And at the end of it, about 30 days in, 32 or something days in, I remember like catching myself only working on like stupid non-productive tasks. I just started like sitting down in front of the desk and just to work, not to really be productive or move the needle or do anything amazing. I was just working. I was doing busy client work. I even took on a project to help a client just redo their whole website, which is like I didn't earn any more money doing that. I took on a lot of cost of doing that. I literally broke even on that client for the month that we did that project, and it also didn't work out. I didn't know how to do a website. I hired a guy to help out, but it was just a mess. So I started making these stupid decisions, and I lost creativity. It was really hard for me to do content because I was just by myself most of the time. And that's when I learned that it just wasn't sustainable. So all I did was sit down at my computer, work. I got a tent sauna at the time. So I did sauna and ice bath in the actual ocean next to the cabin. And I went for runs and worked out, but almost no social interaction, which was extremely unhealthy looking back. And I think that is the main problem and why I don't recommend anyone doing it. I think business and entrepreneurship is so difficult. There's so many ups and downs. And sometimes you can't really just force yourself through it. You need to have an environment where your goals can just grow naturally, but it also needs to be sustainable because there's only so much you can achieve in 2 months, you know? It's not like sometimes I think it's okay to do like a sprint where you focus extremely hard, but I think it's much more smart and wise to actually think about this as a marathon instead of a sprint, and being able to set up a way where you can just do it for way longer. Okay. Like I felt at the end of this, and by the way, I totally failed that 2 month monk mode. If you look at my channel, I stopped at like 35 or 34, 36 days. And yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't fun. I lost creativity. I started doubting myself. And I was just way too narrow minded. It's like I put blinders on, and I think that's okay for a bit. But again, I lost all the creative energy and the want to continue to pursue that. So yeah, quit that. And again, I think the main thing is you need social interaction. You need to understand that as a human. You need to have some fun as well and balance it out with hanging out with friends and people. And in addition to all of that, I think if you're too laser focused on just work, 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 and you don't have an intentional plan on what you're trying to achieve in terms of like the work you're going to focus on during that time, then it's very easy to just start filling up your agenda and your to-do list with stuff that's not really moving your business forward, which is exactly what I did. I did so much work that felt urgent and it felt like I was working in the moment, but looking back, those things weren't like anything that really gave me leverage or moved the needle, right? So as an example, I think it would be much better if during that time I specifically try to master one skill. So for example, I wish I would rather just do, the 2 months or the 1 month and 5 days that I did, only focusing on YouTube content. That's like the one focus I would have for that time. And then filming content every other day, scripting and understanding the format of scripting, analyzing the results of my videos, learning from other creators. That would be much more beneficial. But instead, my focus was everywhere. And I tried to do everything. Like I tried to hire people in my agency, try to get more clients, try to retain my clients. Like it was just a mess. But anyways, that's how you learn. So what am I doing instead now? So yes, I had some growth, but I think just optimizing for growth and making more money is also not really a good thing to do. Like if your business isn't fun, if you don't enjoy it, at some point it's going to fall apart anyways. So what I'm doing instead now is what I call a growth mode. Okay. So not a monk mode. I'm not living like a monk, but I'm optimizing and creating an environment that facilitates growth and allowing my goals to just grow naturally and just come to me basically. So that is exactly what I'm doing now. this place that I'm in is what I call a hacker house. And I met a guy that's also doing a similar business to myself in 2023. And last year, we decided to do the first edition of what we call the Hacker House, where we basically rent an Airbnb for 3 months in Portugal. And we set up our workspace inside the apartment and just set goals, hold each other accountable, but also go and surf, work out, and sometimes even socialize and have some fun without alcohol, though. So much more sustainable. Number one, like we did that for 3 months, and the crazy part is, like, if I compare those 3 months to the month and 5 days that I had trying to do the monk mode by myself, it was like night and day difference in how the perception of time was. So when we did it in Portugal last year, it really felt like 1 month, even though it was 3 months. The reason for that, it was so fun. We like pushed each other, sat next to each other working, and during lunch we would share ideas, talk about what we're doing, and also go surf together, brainstorm. Like, doing this with someone that has a similar vision to yourself is just, it's so valuable. I can't even explain with words the difference it makes. And I think also doing it in a way where you really balance out your pursuits. So of course, for me, I focus on my business, but I also have a hobby and a passion that is surfing. And I think that just balances out my passion and obsession with my business really nicely. Because again, when you put blinders on and you just focus on one thing, very singular focus, at some point, like, your frontal cortex and your conscious part of your brain can only go so far, especially if there's some aspects of what you're trying to do that requires creativity. That those ideas that come up and really make those big shifts, all of a sudden can take your results to the next level. I think that's what happens in the subconscious. And if your mind is not in environment or is not in a state where you allow those to come up, then you're not going to have as much growth. So basically, to put it in more practical terms, when I can like work, and then go for a surf and my mind is totally relaxed because I'm out in the ocean, I'm doing what I love. It, number one, it gives me so much energy. So when I sit down to work again later in the day or the next day, much more energy. But also, while my mind is totally off all the business problems and things I'm dealing with, I get to take a step back and let my subconscious almost like figure it out, work it out, and put perspective on it. So for example, like, let's say you have one problem and you just think, how can I solve this? And then you just sit there a whole day thinking about this. It's almost like your mind becomes more negative. As you're focusing on the problem, it's almost like it's growing. You lose a little bit of belief in yourself maybe, and you turn into this negative mindset or negative mental spiral. If you sit with a problem for too long, I think that can happen. So if you can instead look at the problem and understand that right now you're just not in the mind space to solve this. You can't like force your brain to solve this. Instead, go for a surf, go for a run, go for a workout, hang out with some people, hang out with your friend, and then come back to it. And then all of a sudden, you just realize it's not really that big of a problem. You can either delegate it, you could just not focus on it at all. It's not really a problem, and you can zoom out, and that makes the journey of running and growing a business so much more fun as well. So that's basically what the main difference is. When you do it by yourself and you don't balance it out and make it or do it in a sustainable way, then problems just grow and then your mind becomes negative. And you can't just force creativity and growth. I think you need to facilitate it. So set up an environment like we're doing here with the house, setting up a workspace, but also bringing our hobbies, and also sometimes going out and, relaxing for a bit. But yeah, we're not drinking, we're optimizing sleep. We're putting off time for letting our mind wander, reading, journaling, those kind of things. Um, but also like sometimes sitting down and like, okay, now it's 4 hours of just deep work before we go surf or something like that. So yeah, growth mode, Hacker House. This is the second edition of the Hacker House here in Bali, Uluwatu. Right now it's been a few super rainy days, so we haven't been able to surf for a while, but it's probably going to turn at some point. And for anyone who's thinking about like, you know, you want some business growth, you want personal growth, and you're just tired of like, you don't really feel like you're pushing hard enough, my suggestion is to try to find people that has a similar vision to yourself. If you're hanging around people that isn't really ambitious or motivated or don't really believe in their own goals or in your goals, then it's just very unlikely you're going to achieve them. So I think finding people like-minded, share the same vision, and somebody potentially I want to like go with you and live with you and just focus on their goals together with you, and then you can hold each other accountable and share ideas. I think that's the best way to facilitate growth. And if you don't have anyone, if you are ambitious but your friends are not, and you're hanging out with people that just work 9 to 5s or study and don't really think about entrepreneurship or business or stuff like that, then that is also something that I hope to solve for a lot of people with this channel and the community that I'm trying to build. So long term, my vision for this is to build the Lifestyle Designers Club. If you're interested in that, there's a link in the description of this video where you can basically apply to join the WhatsApp group. So if you want to read more about that, again, the link is in the description, but it's totally free. Right now, there's no upsells or anything. It's just getting like-minded people together so that even if you don't have the physical, like having people around you, you can still have an online community where you can have that supportive group where you can share your ideas, check in with people, tell them how you feel, get feedback from people. I had that when I started out and it was super valuable, but what's even more valuable is like actually physically being surrounded by people that are pushing for their goals, which is something that I hope to achieve long term, bringing people together, living together in villas and houses and cool spots where you can, you know, have fun, share ideas, network, have that community while you focus on your goals and building the life that you want to build. So if that's interesting to you, again, the link is in the description. But yeah, monk modes are over. The only thing I'm doing from now on is what I call the growth mode. And right now we're doing the Hacker House. For this house, we're just doing for a month and a half, but then we're moving to another location. And because of how fun and how sustainable this setup is, I'm probably going to do this for the rest of the year with some breaks in between. And that is the next video I'm going to be making on this channel, where I talk about the concept of mini retirements, which is something Tim Ferriss talks about in his book, The 4-Hour Work Week. So if that is something you're interested in seeing, make sure you subscribe. So mini retirements, a concept of not waiting to your 60 to do cool shit, actually implementing short periods of time throughout your life as a young person, doing cool shit, doing cool adventures, how I've done it, what I've learned from them, and how I recommend anyone do them if you want to do something like that. So yeah, follow along if you're interested. If not, totally fine. And also, if you want to connect, link up, link to my Instagram is in the description of the video. So if anything resonates with you, please hit me up on Instagram and let's connect there as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, and yeah, see you in the next one.